Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever tried to tell a story about something chaotic, like an accident, and it just came out all wrong? Well, today we are diving into two grammar tools that are going to turn that jumble into a crystal clear story. This isn't just about rules, it's about becoming a master storyteller.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Look at these two sentences. They seem almost the same, right? But one little word completely flips the story. In sentence A, the cooking was already happening. It was in progress when the guests walked in. But in sentence B, nope, the guests arrived and then Jane started to cook. That one tiny change messes with the whole timeline.
So, how can one word have that much power? Well, it's all about setting the scene. It's about showing what was the background noise and what was the main event. And getting this right is the absolute secret to telling a good, clear story. So let's break down the tools you're going to need.
So, the two tools we're talking about are the past simple and the past continuous. I want you to think of them like two different camera lenses you can use to look at the past. Knowing which one to grab and when, well, that's what makes a story compelling instead of just confusing.
First up, we've got the past simple. This is your snapshot tool. It's like taking a picture of a single finished action. It happened, it's over, it's done. It's just one complete point in your story's timeline. Take a look at these. We ate out. My parents called. See how each action is a totally finished event? The meal is over. The phone call is complete. Sam's not playing university basketball anymore. They're all just snapshots of a completed past. And now for our second tool, the past continuous. So if the past simple is a snapshot, this one is the movie camera. It's not about capturing a single moment. No, this shows an action that was already happening. It was in progress. It sets the scene for your story.
You can really see here how these actions stretch over a period of time. I was studying means the studying started before 8 p.m. and probably kept going after. We were cleaning the house all morning. That's an activity that filled up a whole block of time. It's not a single point, it's a duration.
All right, so we have our two tools, the snapshot and the movie camera. But here's where the real magic happens, when you use them together. This combination is the absolute key to telling powerful, clear stories. Let's see how it works. And that brings us to the big one, the most powerful technique for storytelling, the interruption rule. This is perfect for explaining accidents or things that happen unexpectedly. And, if you're a pharmacy student, for instance, getting this right is crucial for clearly explaining patient incidents. The rule is actually super simple, but it's so effective. First, you use the past continuous, your movie camera, to set the background scene. In this case, they were driving. Then, you use the past simple, your snapshot, for the short, sudden thing that interrupts it. They saw an accident. You set the scene, then you have the interruption. That's it. Here it is in action. The long background activity was he was playing football. And what interrupted that? The short, sudden event. He broke his arm. See? The timeline is suddenly perfectly clear, no confusion. Let's do one more just to really nail it down. Okay, what was the ongoing background action? We were watching television, and the sudden interruption that stopped it? The power went off. When you use this structure, it's pretty much impossible for your listener to misunderstand the sequence of events. Okay, you've got the main technique down now, so let's level up. I've got a couple of pro tips for you to make your storytelling even more precise. So you can use both when and while to link these two actions, but they do shift the focus a little bit. You usually use when with the short, interrupting action, the past simple, to really emphasize that moment, when the phone rang. And you use while with the long background action, the past continuous, to emphasize the duration. While I was studying. It's a subtle difference, but it's powerful. But be careful. There is an exception to the rule. Of course there is. It's a special group of verbs, we call them state verbs, and they don't really like being in that movie camera mode. Okay, so these are verbs that describe states of being, not actions. Things like emotions, thoughts, senses. You don't really do them over time. It's why you'd say she seemed happy, not she was seeming happy. It just sounds weird, right? So the rule of thumb is these verbs almost always stay in the simple past. Simple. So let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway here? Why does this matter so much? Whether you're, writing up an official incident report or just telling your friend what happened to you over the weekend.
Here it is. This is your storytelling blueprint. First, paint the background scene with the past continuous. Then, bam, you introduce the main interrupting event with the past simple. This simple structure builds a clear timeline, and it turns what could be a confusing mess of events into a story that actually makes sense.
So, you see, this is way more than just some grammar rule to memorize. It's a framework for being clear. Whether you're explaining that a patient felt dizzy while you were explaining their new prescription, or you're just telling a funny story, you've got the tools now. So the real question isn't just about what happened, it's about how clearly you can tell its story.